Welcome into the 4-4 portal. My name is Raina, and let me tell you everything that you need to know about the 4-4 portal. So, as a little bit of a background, we're going to be covering just the basis. What is a portal? If you've never heard of portals before, or if you've only heard of something like the Lionsgate portal or the 1111 portal, let me break it down because the 4-4 portal isn't necessarily the most popular, especially on social media, portal to hear about. So, as context, what is a portal? A portal is a numerological sequence based on the dates that shows and focuses on themes of energy to help us focus and give direction to what we should be focusing on right now and allowing us to be able to work with the current energy. Now, before you say it, these portals are still true even if you were to remove the Gregorian calendar. A lot of people have issues with it because, well, if the calendar was only created some 500 years ago, then portals would be false light or fake. I've personally been working with and studying portals since 2018 and teaching them since 2019. So that's about 7-8 years. If the calendar was taken away, I'm a firm believer that I'd be able to tell you what portal we're in. This is because it's not about the actual physical date. It's not about the fact that it is April 4th or 4-4. It's about the energy that happens at this point of the cycle each year. Okay? So if you remove the calendar entirely, I'd still be able to know we're in the 4-4 portal because it's about the energy behind it. The actual concept of it being the 4-4 portal is just a way that we can structure energy. It's just a way for us to be able to say, oh yeah, we're in the 4-4 portal. If we weren't to use the numerology and say the 4-4 portal, I'd call this the evolutionary growth portal. I'd say this is the time where you are evolving, you are growing, and you are choosing. So between now, April 4th, and about April 22nd, you might be faced with a lot of choice points, a lot of moments where you can choose to evolve. Maybe you have a option in the morning to scroll on your phone or meditate. Maybe you have the option between doing something that you know the evolved version of you would be doing versus who you currently are. The second that you can make the decision to actually do the evolved choice, that's when you're working with this portal properly. Now, I want to zoom out for 1 second because this is where I find that people get misled when it comes to portals. People think they are these single standalone events. So the Lionsgate portal, people will start to try to manifest for the Lionsgate portal on 8/8. That's so incorrect. That's so improper. If you wait till then, you've already missed the energy. That's my perspective. Because portals are continuous cyclical cycles. We're continuously in this energy. And so, for example, if you're wanting to use that 8/8 portal in August in order to, manifest, intend, align, you should be working with it now. You should be preparing. These portals all work in stepping stones. Let's just zoom out for a second. January, that's new beginning, that's intentions, that's setting the seeds and intentions for the portal cycle. 2-2 portal, February, that's structure, that's organization, that's making sure you have the structure for what your goals are for this year. If you're a business owner, 2-2 portal, that's when you should be creating the foundational offers. You should be rebranding your website. You should be understanding, okay, these are the offers. This is how I'm going to meet my income goal. 3-3 portal, March, that's creation. That's when you're actually actively going out and creating things. 4-4 portal is for evolution. It's for scaling. It's for personal growth. May, 5-5. That one's a little interesting. That one's more just about looking at and receiving the opportunities that are now present because of the last 4 months, because you built the structure, because you created, and because you grew and scaled your life or your business. You now have opportunities that are going to come in. 6-6 portal is really that decision point. That's you either cruise for the rest of the year or you head for completion in September's 9-9 portal. June is where most people fall off, and I've experienced, I would say, since I've been conscious of these portals, so for 7 full portal cycles, there was only one time that I did not correctly work with the 6-6 portal, And it is true. I literally did not head for completion in September. I didn't experience the new beginning until October. Everything stayed the same between June and October. So if you actually want to reap the benefits and rewards of the Lionsgate portal, you need to back it up and start working with it now. The 6/6 portal, you'll have decisions that you need to make that are going to shift your timeline either positively or negatively, and that's usually going to culminate around that solstice point on the 20th or 21st of June. Then we have the 7/7 portal, which is all about aligning to your mission, advancing what you're currently doing. The 8/8, which is all about abundance, it's about blessings, it's about receptivity, it's about being seen, it's about courage, it's about leadership, is that main character energy. And then you get 9/9, which is completion. That's when you're completing old cycles, so then you can start off the new portal year. Portals years, in my opinion, start at 10/10. It's not 1/1, it starts at 10/10, because the 10/10 is then that big new beginning. That's when you receive what you're manifesting in Lionsgate. You usually receive it at 10/10 once you've completed the cycle. Then we have 11/11. That is the ego death. Everyone's like, it's the manifestation portal. And it's like, no, it's the ego death. That is when you put to death the versions of yourself that are no longer helpful for your evolutionary growth. This is the remnants of cycles you didn't complete. This is when you step beyond yourself and you get a lot more connected to your spiritual side, meditation, activations, that's very common. And then 12/12, that is like just the big advanced month. This is where you go through a lot of energy upgrades, as some people will call them, and really experience that evolutionary growth journey. And then you go back into 1/1. The key of portals is actually to break through them and experience the 13. So I always find that the 12/13 is the most beneficial date or portal to work with, because you don't want to keep going in this cycle. You do at some point want to break out of the portals. I did that for the first time last year, and it was really, 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 really unique. And I don't really know how to explain 13 other than it breaks you out of this kind of cycle that you're always in. And I do think that I was only able to break out of the portals because I had worked with them so much, and now I can come and work with them and understand that if you end at 12/12 and go right down into 1, you're in a cycle like a clock. But after 12/12, if you get into 13, 13 could also be 0. And this is probably not going to make sense. I don't really know how to communicate this one. I'll probably be able to communicate in December/January. But you want to break free and out of them and go into the next step in the next level, so that when you are going to repeat through the portals, you're not just repeating the same things habitually, you're actually evolving and growing. And this provides you with cyclical evolution. And evolution is always going to be in a cycle, okay? Evolution is always going to go like this, but it's kind of in an upward spiral. So someone who's worked with these portals for so long, you need to choose to evolve during 4/4. This is when you are evolving. So making the better decisions that are most aligned to your highest trajectory is going to make a bigger impact now than it's going to in a different time period, like 5/5 or 6/6. You're going to want to really understand, what do I need to do to evolve? What are the things that I need to change in my life right now if I want to make a big jump in my personal evolution? So I hope that you enjoyed this video, mostly explaining how portals work, but also with a little bit of information about the 4/4 portal. Once again, this portal is roughly from April 4th to 22nd. Once again, it's not necessarily about the Gregorian calendar, it's about the current energy that repeats all the time at this exact point of time. So don't be too stressed out about making the date perfect, making 4/4 this big thing. That's where I think people get lost with portals, is they try to make it perfect, and it can only be perfect if you fully believe in the calendar. So let go of the calendar for a second and just recognize that this point of the year is all about evolution. So how can you focus on evolution to allow for new opportunities to come to you? Because if you evolve right now, trust me, in May, there's going to be all these opportunities that you're going to experience, and you're going to be so grateful that you chose to do this now. And I know a lot of people say, but you shouldn't have to wait for a portal to do these things, or only do them at specific times. And no, you shouldn't wait for a portal to evolve. But the structure of portals is so beneficial for some people. The same way working with a full or a new moon is beneficial for some people, working with portals helps people actually be like, okay, this is the time that I am going to like focus on my evolutionary growth. This is the dedicated time where I know energetically I'm supported in my evolution, right? Where there is a theme of evolution right now, right? And you'll see that in April. You'll naturally be inclined to things that are going to help you evolve, bigger decisions you need to make that are going to support in this evolution. So I hope that you have a deeper comprehension of portals, because I know what you typically see on Instagram or on different various social medias doesn't really give you that big picture, doesn't necessarily get outside of the pressure point of them, as well as give the perspective beyond the portals, beyond the Gregorian calendar, and help you actually understand that this is a constant influx of energy. It is just like a theme of energy that we typically experience every month. So I'm sending you so much love, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you feel a resonance with the topics that I'm talking about with this frequency, and I will see you in the next video.